Hi, everyone. Professor Sweeter here, and welcome to week 8, midterm week. Yay! I know you're all so excited to be delivering your midterm speeches this week. I honestly am really excited to hear them. We've got some great topics lined up for this semester. You have some really creative classmates, and so I am looking forward to hearing really awesome speeches this week. So this is a short video to orient you to how you will be recording and submitting your speeches on MindTap. It's to give you a little bit more information about how you'll just finalize and submit this project. And of course, I've got some helpful tips to help you record a really good speech. Because we are focusing on midterm speeches this week, you're not actually going to be working in MindTap. Instead, we're going to be focusing exclusively on the midterm speech. So when you go into Blackboard, you can see right here, I'm in the week 8 folder, and you scroll down and it talks almost exclusively about the midterm speech. And of course, you're going to be referring to the midterm project folder to do that. Scroll down a little bit further. I've got a video for you, How I Beat Stage Fright by Joe Cohen. A little bit lower is a mid-semester journal and a week 8 discussion. And those are the only 2 assignments that you are responsible for this week beyond the midterm project. So you can see here, there's nothing else about the midterm. To access all of that, we're going to go back up to course projects on the left and then into the midterm project folder. Now we've been working in this folder for a few weeks now, so none of this is really a surprise to you. At the very beginning, you've got information about the project. Again, you have the project assignment and the rubric. Most of you have seen this already because when I gave you your feedback regarding your drafts, I sent a rubric along with you. And of course, this is the same rubric that I'm going to be using as I grade your final speech. Scrolling down, we've done step 1, you've done step 2, and then below that is midterm project presentation, and click here to submit the final draft of your outline. So let's take a minute and talk about your outlines. At this point, I have read and returned all of your outlines. You have my feedback. If you haven't seen it yet, please make sure that you go into your Goodwin student email as soon as possible and check it out. And let me know immediately if you have any problems or if you can't see my feedback. At this point, it is now week 8 and I cannot read any more of your outlines. So if you have another draft of it, or maybe I asked you to resubmit after that first draft, at this point, we're beyond the point where I can actually give you timely and reasonable feedback. That's not to say, though, that I can't meet with you. I can still meet with you, and we can schedule short 15 to 20 minute long meetings to go over what you have in real time. It's just not the same amount of time and feedback that you might get from me otherwise. So if you'd like to set up a meeting, go ahead and text me and we can take care of that. So at this point, what is your responsibility? Well, you have your feedback, you have your first draft of your outline. Your job now is to revise that outline and then to submit it. And I do ask that you submit it when you submit your final speech, when you do your presentation. So right here, it says click to submit the final draft of your outline. And that, of course, is helpful to me because I can watch your speech and look at that outline as you're presenting it and see that you're on track. But more importantly, the outline is important to you, all right? The outline is your roadmap to the speech. And I know we've said this a few times in the past, but when we created this outline, we created it so that you would have something to frame and to structure your speech on. Remember, a lot of times we see people on television, politicians in particular, who are giving speeches and most of the time they're reading or they have a teleprompter next to them and they can read the words off of it. When someone goes off topic or off speech or speaks maybe, just from the heart and they don't have something prepared ahead of time, it becomes very obvious. And a lot of times we tend to jump on those conversations and pick apart those speeches. The reality is a speech is off the cuff. It's not something that is necessarily really well rehearsed. So what we have instead are these beautiful outlines. And these outlines are designed to help you give your speech. So what I expect from you as you are presenting your speech this week is either one of two things. Either you have, and I'll give you my cheat sheet here, either you have your outline right next to you and you are using it and you're using it to refer to, and you can see the order and the organization that you planned. Or a lot of times people like to use note cards. And if we were doing a speech in a classroom, I would actually ask you to do note cards and put your main points there. But it's something that you can refer to and you can look at. All right, so those are two options there, to have your actual outline in front of you or to have your note card in front of you. Now, I want to caution you about something. When we talk about outlines, when we talk about note cards, you should not have full sentences, full paragraphs, all that stuff. And I was pretty clear about that, I think, when I graded your outlines too. The reason is having full sentences and paragraphs, or if you're using note cards, putting everything on your note cards verbatim actually puts you at risk of reading your speech. And if you remember, I've said a few times already, you don't want to read your speech. You want to speak more naturally with it. Okay, so just something to think about there. Let's talk now about how you're going to submit your speech. So first of all, you do have, of course, this link here, which is where you're going to submit the final draft of your outline. But just above that midterm project presentation, I'm going to click on it. And it is a link right to MindTap. It's going to take a second to load. I should have opened it beforehand. Oh, well. But this is exactly what you're going to see when you open up that link in Blackboard. It brings you right to this page in MindTap, the midterm project presentation. So I'm going to take a few minutes and go through this so you can really have a good idea of what to expect when you do your speeches. So first of all, you have instructions at the top. It says complete your midterm project presentation in 3 parts. Perform your 5 to 8 minute verbal presentation on a topic of your interest. Guys, I've been saying this from the beginning. It's actually a 6 to 8 minute presentation. MindTap wrote these directions and I can't modify them. So it does say 5 to 8 there. It is actually a 6 to 8 minute presentation. After you perform it, you're going to watch and review your own presentation and grade yourself on it. And to do that, over on the right here, this is a rubric that you'll be using to grade yourself, okay? Now this rubric is actually different from the rubric that I use to grade you. This rubric focuses more on delivery, how you speak, the language you use, the details that you have. Whereas the rubric that I use actually focuses a little bit less on delivery and more on the development of your outline because it's such a crucial part to your speech. So there are 2 rubrics here. This is the one you'll be using for your self-evaluation. Below that, it also says watch and review 3 of your classmates' presentations. And I want to impress upon you, this is important. This is a graded part of your assignment. You must, after you deliver your speech, after you review your own speech, you must review 3 of your classmates' speeches as well, right? And again, it's using that same rubric. Just so you're aware, you're not going to be able to do this until after you have recorded your own speech and evaluated yourself, okay? And again, the review that you'll be doing is using the same rubric that I showed you right here, which emphasizes delivery. All right, let's scroll down. So here's how you actually record your speech. Please remember that you are recording your speeches in MindTap. You are not permitted to record your speeches using any other program. You can't do it in YouTube. You can't do it on your cell phones. You must do it in MindTap, please. Okay. All right, here's how you do it. It's pretty simple. Work in progress. See that big plus sign in the middle? Add. When I click on that, you have some options here. And in this case, you only want to use video, all right? Because as I said, you're recording in MindTap. And part of the reason for this is we want to ensure that you're not editing your video. You're not splicing together all the good parts versus the bad parts. And also the sheer fact that you're recording in MindTap means that you're going to have, frankly, better luck uploading it. And it's more likely that you won't have any problems with that uploading process. So we're going to add video. When I click on that, again, it gives me options, but we're going to click on record video using your camera. And then right here in the middle of your screen, you're going to see I'm going to click allow here, but right here in the middle of your screen is a pop-up about your recorder. Now, I've got to be honest, guys, this is my first time actually recording these instructions in Zoom. Usually I use Blackboard Collaborate. So I do suspect that is why this isn't working for me right now. But essentially what happens here is you will see a pop-up screen and it'll start, it'll show your face. So it's almost like Inception where your face is in the middle of the screen there. And from there you can record. I'm going to troubleshoot just for a second, see if this works. I don't think it's going to, like I said, because I'm using Zoom to record this. Yep. Well, that's frustrating. I should have tried that ahead of time. It's okay. You get the idea though. If you have successfully done the video Q&As the past few weeks during chapters 4 and chapters 5, then you've used the same program already. After you finish recording, please be aware that your recordings will populate down here under where it says submission. But that doesn't mean that you have submitted just yet. Just like anything, sometimes you feel you need to record a few times, you need a few attempts to make sure that you've got your speech down right. So you can record multiple times. And then when you're ready to submit, essentially you will choose the one you like best. You'll highlight it and it'll have a little star next to it. And then this blue submit, it's gray now, but this submit button will illuminate in blue and you can click and submit. Please realize that because this is a 6 to 8 minute long speech, it takes a few minutes to submit. And so you'll get a message that MindTap is working on it and maybe you should leave and come back in half an hour or so. All right. But when you're done, at that point, you'll have the opportunity to do your own self-review and of course your peer reviews. So if you can access those screens, then you know that your video is uploaded properly. And of course, if you're concerned, text me, I'll log in, I'll check for you too. All right. I apologize that that's not working, but like I said, I usually use a different program to record these videos. This program works better than that other program. So if you're really stuck, let me know, text me, I'll walk you through it. All right. Let's do some last minute tips for doing your speeches. Yay. First of all, practice. Practice. Please practice your speeches. When you record it, when you do that final presentation, that should not be your first time practicing your speech. I personally have a huge speech coming up in about a month for my dissertation, and same thing, I will be practicing it for at least several days before I do my dress rehearsal with my advisor. So practice. I don't care who you practice to. You can line up stuffed animals. You can practice to the dog and the cat. You can force your family and friends to listen to you, but please practice. Another reason why it's important to practice is that helps with your timing. Again, 6 to 8 minutes. And if you practice and time yourself and consistently find that you're only getting to about 4.5 minutes, then we need to go back. We need to review that syllabus, not syllabus, I'm sorry, that outline. We need to review that outline and make sure that you've got enough detail to bring you to 6 to 8 minutes. Okay. Another key thing about practicing is you are going to be able to better remember your outline. And what that means is you won't have to look at this as much. You won't have to look at those notes as much. So practice is key. I'm going to tell you over and over again, practice. The other thing that I do want to remind you is the visual portion of the speech. I did my best to handwrite that on every single outline. And I did my best to say that in other videos that I've recorded for you as well. You are not responsible for a visual for this speech. In fact, I recommend that you avoid a visual altogether. Here's why. You and I are in this weird position where we are in an online format, And to put a visual into an online speech like this is really, it's kind of artificial and very distracting. If you have something, small and handy and that will not distract us from the rest of your speech, feel free to use it. But I do not want to see PowerPoints. I don't want to see pictures. Quite honestly, I don't want to see anything that's going to obstruct your face. We need to see your face as you're giving your speech. Okay, here's an example. I've seen a lot of people who are talking about safe, hand washing techniques and staying safe during coronavirus. So you could have something as simple as a little bit of hand sanitizer and use that. Okay, not distracting. It's short, it's simple. You can put it down. There's your visual if you feel that you need one. But again, remember, you're not being graded on the visual. So it's not something that I'm looking for at all. The last thing I want to remind you is about due dates. Please remember, due dates are a little bit funky with this week. First of all, your actual speech must be uploaded, and I'm double checking this really quick. Your actual speech must be uploaded by Thursday. Okay, Thursday is when the midterm project presentation is due. So when you go into MindTap, when you hit record, and when you actually present, that has to be done by Thursday at midnight. However, everyone is going to be recording and uploading sometime on Thursday. I know that. It's okay. So the self and the peer review, the evaluation must be completed by Sunday, and Sunday is the 1st. So yes, your speech itself needs to be recorded on Thursday, but the final submission with a peer review is not obviously going to happen until Sunday night. And quite honestly, that's because it's impossible for everyone to do their speeches, to make sure they're recorded and uploaded, and to do all those peer reviews at the same time. It doesn't work in the real world. All right, so please note that you have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, counting too low, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do yourself and your peer evaluations. All right, that's it. And then you're done. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to them. Like I said before, public speaking, yeah, it's kind of a necessary evil, but I have the utmost confidence that you guys will do a fabulous job. And if you're worried, just practice and practice and practice and practice. All right. Good luck to you. Have a fabulous week. And if I don't see you before then, have a great Halloween. Hopefully it doesn't snow. And I'm looking forward to those speeches. All right, my friends, thank you so much and good luck.